Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm proud to introduce you to Jaydene Morrison, a school psychologist who is committed to children and their well being. Jaydene, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, Star.
Excellent, excellent. So, Jaydene, let's just start off talking a little bit about your books. What can you tell me about them?
Well, first thing I would like to say, this has given me the opportunity to work with children and analyze and change some directions. For instance, with the ADHD, I found that this is evolutionary process. This isn't, they are further ahead of us. We are trying to pull them back where we are and not out of the edge where they are able to excel.
Jaydene, let's go back a little bit forward. Let's just go back a little bit. Let's set the stage. We're going to start off by, I'd like to set the stage.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about you, your background, and why you do the work you do.
Well, my background is school psychology. I've been able to work with children from Oklahoma City schools to Hawaii to here, there, yonder, and their children are most fascinating.
And then you can tell me a little bit about the career path that you've chosen, because you've really focused your career on treating ADHD and learning disabilities. A lot of people refer to them as children with special needs. And I like to refer to them as differently abled because they're certainly able, and it may just be in a different way. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
I totally agree with you, Star. They are the most wonderful children. They're like all children. They have needs of to be loved, to be excel, and they can do that.
As I said, you spent your career treating ADHD and learning disabilities, but how has that experience aided you in writing the books that you've written in this area?
The way it evolved was I was asked to do this by parents, by people that were trying to find their way. Even students wanted to understand themselves so they could read and understand themselves.
So then take us back. Tell me a little bit more about the books. What can you tell us about them?
Well, the one I mentioned the most was the ADHD, and I found that these were children that excelled. They were above average in IQ. They were quick thinkers. They very bored in school because the school was so far behind them, and they were way out there on the edge.
And I understand you're working on a new book now. What can we expect from this one?
Oh, this is about Aspen. You will love Aspen. It's a series, and I start with her in elementary school, first grade. And the teacher's on her case. She's not paying attention. The other kids are making fun of her. So Aspen just takes it among herself and runs. She leaves that school. The heck with them. And it's her adventures on her way home and how she gets back. Then the second book that I'm now having worked with and getting ready for an agent, and it's Aspen again, and she's in 8th grade. And oh my gosh, you can't believe what's happened to her.
What would you consider to be the most rewarding aspect of what you do, Jaydene?
Comments from parents said that I finally understand my child, and now I find there's really nothing wrong with them. And the school had me thinking they were special needs and all this stuff, and they're special just like all kids are.
Very much so, you and I both currently agree on that. In your opinion, what is the most important thing that a parent or a guardian of a child with special or different needs should be mindful of with regard to that child's development?
Well, the first thing they need to do is learn right from wrong and obey rules. This is with every child. Then demonstrate love and acceptance, and they need to know that their parents are behind them, got their back.
Well, that's really like with any other child. Absolutely.
Yes. Star, you got it, girl.
Yes, ma'am. I've been paying attention. So I know there are a lot of young people who are starting out in their careers. So I would really like to pick your brain a little bit and say, how would you advise a student or a therapist looking to branch into your particular field?
Have a love of children. Children can pick a phony out any time. Yes.
And it's not just the child and the teacher, it's the family. That's the village of the child. So
That's
what
right.
do you think is the role of the family unit in providing a supportive environment for a child, especially one with special needs or who is differently able?
The same as with any child. Parents love their children. They have their back. They raise them to be law-abiding citizens, and go from there.
And since we've sort of gone all around this, what's the one thing you want the viewer of this video feature to walk away with, especially as it relates to children?
That their children aren't any different than any other child. They need time, they need love, they need attention, they need support, and someone to help them with schoolwork, maybe at home.
Mm-hmm. That loving family environment is absolutely imperative. And Jaydene, I'll share with you that education was number one in my family as I was growing up. It was my third grade teacher that taught me love of books, Mrs. Melba Azell, who is still my favorite teacher to this day.
I hope she's listening.
And she hears all the time that I give her tremendous credit for my love of books, but more importantly, just having someone in my corner, in addition to my family, was such a wonderful thing. And I appreciate you treating the development of a child like an obligation of our own community, that we must, as a community, work towards the positive and well-being of a child.
Yes, I appreciate your saying this, Star. That is perfect.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much for your time today. I bless you, and I hope that you continue in your work, that you continue to bless children.
I will. And I hope you keep this positive attitude you got. I love it, honey.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.